Friends and fellow citizens, happy President's Day. And it is a happy day because a good man is our president, President Joseph Biden. And it is still a terrible day due to the actions of the previous president, up to and including inciting murderous insurrection. This day used to be called Washington's birthday, and it's been a federal holiday for a long time. It's a tradition that in honor of President Washington and the decisive step he made in leaving office voluntarily at the end of his term, that each year on this day, a U.S. Senator reads aloud in the Senate Washington's farewell address from 1796. In that address, President Washington warned about the dangers to the nation from foreign influence and the, quote, baneful effects of the spirit of party, unquote. We've endured both those ills over the past few years and especially the past few months. The mysterious and complete subservience of the former president to a foreign nation is exactly what Washington warned of. And certain factional party allegiances have become, as he warned, a path to potential absolute power of an individual, to the ruin of public liberty. A circumstance we only narrowly escaped a few weeks ago. A danger that has not been dispelled, thanks to certain party passions bred, as Washington said, in the love of power and proneness to abuse it, in, quote, cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men, unquote, who support a would-be tyrant. Just a few months ago, I wrote a little ditty. As if creation lives in a better place, above politics of crime, lies, and greed, I resent having to vent in verse my outrage at the disgrace that overwhelms our newsfeed. But here we are. Today I recall my first oration. Sophomore year of high school, I took speech, a class taught, led by Miss Malseed in a room with a stage called the Odeon. Sophomore boys, yes, only boys, near year end, could give a memorized oration to the Optimist Club, a small fellowship group of businessmen, after dinner in a room in a restaurant. I chose democracy as my theme. From the encyclopedia my parents bought from a door-to-door salesman, I chose Solon, the lawgiver of Athens, and Hiawatha, sage of the Iroquois nation, as independent founders of democracies. The logic of my argument from two men out of all history now eludes me. Feedback from the oration was that perhaps Solon was remote and did not engage the men's interest. From this, I learned nothing. Worked over many years on a verse play about Solon, his mad poet act, and ancient women's mysteries, while democracy shattered in lies. Hiawatha's been done, but in name only, a stolen name, not the real man. But who knows? I might still have time for a new draft. This next time, an oration of epic ethnic appropriation. Recently, I turned to the words of one of the wisest men in our literature for guidance. I speak, of course, of the fool in King Lear. Here's what he said about what our politics has become as a fool speaks to power. If you want real power, Nuncle, bring back crime. Start by claiming there's a terrible crime wave, whatever. Make poor migrants criminals in hiding, unable to turn to the police. Make up new crimes and force the obsolete. Marijuana, Nuncle, such a haze, so fraught for paranoia. Lock them up. To be king, you must have prisoners. Disrupt whole communities, charge and ruin them one by one. A huge population in private prisons. Did you know you can own a prison in America? I heard last night of a guy who owns a chain of women's prisons. They can work for $1 a day, pure profit on prison labor, exempt from the Constitution's ban on slavery. They're off the streets and cannot vote. Their communities are yours, reduced. That will keep them weak enough to be subjects of a bitter fool, nuncle, a mean and mighty king of mere losers. Make a lot of them. Make them your base, a plinth for the statue of one superstar. They can build it and pay you with their lives. That advice from the fool got me angry, and I remembered the older crimes of our bloated demagogue, our would-be tyrant. But let's be fair. There is no evidence linking Trump to the assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963. However, Trump was 17 years old and a troublesome young man already, sent away to full-time detention hall, a, quote, military, unquote, school, where he majored in dress-up, strut, parade, and bully. Records have not surfaced as to his whereabouts that day in Dealey Plaza, but the conspirators were never caught. And don't you think that Hoffa and the Mafia sound like Trump's kind of people? He was underage. But would that keep him out of Jack Ruby's strip club? He would grow to know so many crime bosses and oligarchs. What did Trump ever know? And when did he forget all about it? His role then? Probably to blame foreigners. But instead, he preened for hours at his reflection in store window glass over a TV screen. And his part of the plan failed, of course. The evidence so far? Trump accused an opponent's father of involvement in the Kennedy assassination. Isn't it clear? Trump accuses others of what he does, a trick learned from his favorite old lawyer, the disbarred one. Still, it's only conjecture, but he has been linked to many crimes, the latest committed in full view of all of us, and gotten away with it again, so far. I was reminded of the famous words of Emma Lazarus about the Statue of Liberty, and I borrowed a few of her words that helped me still breathe free. Not a Colossus. Under circling skies, oceanside land cracks open like a watershed door, inward, for a refugee's urgent hand, to natural harbor, a home to breathe free. Liberty still holds up high a flame of green copper oxides. A few poor, tattered, skeletal piers remain to frame airy memories of a welcoming shore. An orange obesity of fraudulent fame now struts and shouts to loom larger than she who calmly still carries liberty's name. The awful clown stretches to pretend to stand tall, shakes his fists and rants at you and me. But down he shrinks with every cruel command. And shrink he has. So may I suggest a transition to a better future in our song. Memories of the day's outrages cut sharply as we fade into sleep. What we leave behind still happened. We can't escape a world so strange. We sing like a rebel army marching through a village to sirens and applause. I grind my teeth, you stir and toss. We murder our fathers with loud guitars. We awaken to what's been lost and clamor in darkness for a past before the fascists came, reclaimed. Please strum your banjo. I'll string a fiddle. Our tune evolves, a tender call together to start a day again in the right key. Here's to optimists and our new and so much better president, Joseph Biden, on this President's Day. Thank you.